You know that feeling when you realize you've been living with a stranger for 18 years? That's parenthood. And somehow, you signed up for it voluntarily. Imagine you're standing in a hospital room, staring at this tiny, screaming human who just entered the world. You're responsible for keeping this thing alive. No pressure, right? The first few weeks are basically a hostage situation, where the kidnapper can't even hold their own head up. You're negotiating with a tiny dictator whose only language is crying at 3 in the morning. Sleep becomes a theoretical concept you vaguely remember from your previous life. But here's the wild part. You start noticing things. The way their eyes focus on your face for the first time, like you're the most fascinating person in the universe. Spoiler alert, you're not, but they don't know that yet. Fast forward a few years, and suddenly you're watching them take their first steps. They fall approximately 900 times, and each time they get back up, like some kind of miniature motivational speaker. You realize they're tougher than you ever gave them credit for. Then comes the phase where every single thing requires an explanation. Why is the sky blue? Where does the sun go at night? Why can't I eat cookies for breakfast? You become part philosopher, part scientist, part diplomat, negotiating treaty terms over vegetable consumption. School starts. And now you're dealing with a whole new identity crisis, except it's theirs, not yours. They're learning who they are in the world beyond your living room. You're just watching from the sidelines, pretending you have any control over the situation. The teenage years hit like a freight train wrapped in attitude and questionable fashion choices. Suddenly, you're the least cool person on the planet. Every suggestion you make is apparently the worst idea in human history. But then, something shifts. Maybe it's gradual, maybe it's overnight. You see glimpses of the adult they're becoming. The way they stand up for a friend, the passion they have for something you never even knew existed. You watch them navigate heartbreak, failure, rejection, all the things you wanted to protect them from but couldn't. And somehow, they survive it. More than survive, they learn from it. They develop opinions that differ from yours. And instead of feeling threatened, you're actually impressed. They thought critically about something. They formed their own worldview. Mission accomplished, right? College applications, job interviews, relationship decisions. You transition from director to consultant. They're asking for advice now, not permission. The power dynamic has completely flipped, and you didn't even notice when it happened. Then one day, you're sitting across from them at dinner, and they're telling you about their life. Their actual, real, adult life, with challenges and victories you're only hearing about after the fact. You realize they've become someone you genuinely like, not just love, out of biological obligation. If you met this person randomly, you think they were pretty great. Maybe even want to be friends with them. All those moments you thought you were failing, the times you lost your temper, forgot the school event, gave the wrong advice, they don't seem to matter now. Somehow, they turned out okay anyway. You see pieces of yourself in them, sure, but you also see someone entirely unique. Someone who took your genetic material and life lessons and created something completely original. They're out there making decisions, solving problems, building relationships. And you're not needed in the same way anymore. It's simultaneously heartbreaking and exactly what you worked toward for 2 decades. The pride isn't about them becoming a doctor or a lawyer or whatever society deems successful. It's about them becoming kind when they could be cruel, resilient when they could give up, themselves when the world pressures conformity. You look back at that screaming stranger in the hospital room and realize you didn't create who they are. You just gave them space to become it. And somehow, that's even more remarkable. Sure, they still make decisions you question. They'll probably keep doing that for the next 40 years. But they're their decisions to make now. They're lessons to learn. The job description changed somewhere along the way. You went from keeper to guide to cheerleader. And honestly, being a proud spectator isn't the worst gig in the world. Because watching someone you love become who they're meant to be, flaws, quirks, victories, and all, that's the real payoff. Not perfection, not some idealized version you imagined. Just them, fully realized, standing on their own. You spent 18 years wondering if you were doing it right. Turns out, there was no right to begin with. Just showing up, staying curious, and loving them through every confusing phase. And now they're out there, living a life you helped start but can't control. They're writing their own story, making their own mistakes, celebrating their own wins, exactly as it should be. That's the plot twist nobody mentions in the parenting books. Success isn't them needing you forever. It's them not needing you the same way, but choosing to keep you around anyway. So here you are, watching your child, except they're not really a child anymore, navigate the world with surprising grace. And you're thinking, yeah, we did all right. They did all right. Whatever this strange journey was, it worked out.